Hi, it's Dan Barrett from the Greater Toronto Area Council, talking to you today about pay advocates, and we're going to go a little bit through this first aid kit. Last time we kind of covered off the burnt by Phoenix, PSAC's taking action, and this time we're going to try and go through this guy a little bit. But first, I'm going to just touch on a quick history of Phoenix. So this has been going on for a while. In 2005, the concept of a unified pay upgrade was announced. In 2009, the consolidation of the pay system was identified. In 2010, jobs in Miramichi were committed to in relation to those lost by the gun registry closure. In 2011, IBM won a $141 million contract to generate the Phoenix system. 1,000 compensation advisors were cut, and 400 compensation advisors moved to Miramichi. So in June 2015, warning from the Public Service employees of problems with implementing the Phoenix systems were identified. On February 24th, 34 departments rolled out with the Phoenix system. On their March 1st, their first pay disastrous results ensued, which was followed on April of 2016 with another 64 departments and agencies getting on board Phoenix. So in response to a Phoenix incident, basically as a pay advisor, there's four things that I'm going to be looking for. One is documentation, and documentation, and documentation. The second one is speaking to management and HR, and the Section 34 within your organization, reporting the pay issue to through the 1-800 number 1-855-686-4729, and again getting going through the departmental portals to identify the issue. And fourth one is the follow-up, and this is a cycle because when you are dealing with a pay problem, they can be shut down, merged, amalgamated, and very difficult to track, so you have to constantly go through this cycle until you get your pay fixed. So PSAC is working hard to secure important support and relief for all of our members impacted by the Phoenix. So if you have been burnt by Phoenix, please make sure to access the services that you're entitled to, which would include accessing the pay advocate in your local to help you through. So if you have received zero pay on payday or have been unpaid to the point where it is causing financial hardship, go immediately to your manager or your supervisor, your Section 4 delegated authority, preferably, for access to an emergency salary advance or a priority pay. There's a maximum 48-hour turnaround time from when you do this. So make sure again that you document the request, that make sure that you follow up, that you talk to the Section 34, report the incident again, and do the follow-up. Make sure it goes through. Now, second case. So if you're returning from long-term sick leave, maternity, parental leave, a transfer in, or are on a gradual return to work, access your department's HR software to confirm all necessary entries, updates have been completed. Okay, so that's your PeopleSoft, whatever your leave is on, and the general return to work sort of process that employees are entitled to. Make sure that your union rep is aware that you're doing a return to work, that it's going smoothly. Meet with your manager, supervisor prior to your return to confirm all authorities are entered into the system and processed before you return to work. Case number 3. If you do not receive your full entitlements like overtime, acting pay, northern allowance, allowances mandated by the collective agreement, file a pay action request. And that's through your manager, right? So, because the manager has the authority. If you end up trying to file something, you don't have the authority, it's just going to get stuck in the system. So, do it properly. Meet with your manager, supervisor, and request a priority pay for any missing entitlements. Please note that this does not apply to retro pay. Okay, so this one here, we're still waiting on that one, and there's a separate court action going on about the delay in that payment. Number 4, so if you are unable to repay monies received due to overpayments in a lump sum or by the payment schedule prescribed by the employer, go to your manager and supervisor to discuss an alternate payment schedule. Okay, so again, document it. Make sure you speak to the management, Section 34, if they're on board. You report the pay issue, and you do the follow-up. Case number 5. If you have incurred out-of-pocket expenses due to Phoenix pay issues such as non-sufficient funds charges, late payment charges, credit card or loan interests, and similar fees, you are eligible to file a claim with Treasury Board, which you can find on the link to claim forms at psacunion.ca/Phoenix. So that's the Phoenix page on the PSAC's website. Okay, and finally, case number 6, if you are retiring and worried about pension problems because of Phoenix, contact the Pension Center at 1-800-561-7930. There's some variations in how different departments deal with some of these functions, but essentially the system has been set up to ensure that emergency funds are available. They're still trying to ensure that recovery doesn't happen until pay is stabilized, and we spoke to that last time in the what PSAC is doing. So that's the straight answers on getting pay. If you go through that process and stuff is still not being fixed properly, remember the grievance process is there. Understand that your pay is in the collective agreement, and if you're not being paid properly, it's a situation where the employer has not implemented the collective agreement provisions for pay, which might include ... And when you're looking at corrective actions, you have to make sure that to be made whole happens to be in there. So that's the language for stuff that may happen that's not foreseen at the beginning of a grievance, but by the end of the grievance, you've had all this stuff go on, and it just compounds, right? So instead of saying a set dollar value, you're putting the to be made whole aspect. So anyways, if you choose to go the grievance route, understand that it's going to probably be a long time before that comes into play, but part of the reason you're looking at actually putting a grievance in at this point is the employer has indicated they're not anticipating a solution for this thing until 4 years down the road. And there are a couple of court cases going right through, even though you have the Public Service Labor Relations Act, Section 236 indicates that we can't sue the government. But that being said, there's nothing to say that settlement that might actually come into play could affect those folks who have grieved the process, and thus if you have an issue, the best way to protect your rights in regards to that would be to grieve. Hope this gives you a general idea of this current status of where we are with the pay advocates. And again, if you have a concern with your pay and you need a second set of eyes to take a look at it, make an appointment with your local pay advocate and get the resources that are available to help make sure that you understand what is going on with your pay and that you're being paid on time and correctly. So again, Dan Barrett from Greater Toronto Area Council. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this and hope that your payday in the near future is complete and current. Thank you.